I think I'm good. I think y'all can see me. I don't know what happened. Yeah, y'all still in the building showing love. Yes, 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 yes. We back up. We rebooted. Yes, I don't know what happened, y'all. I don't know what happened there. That was crazy. That was crazy. Give people some time to tap back in. I don't know what happened. But shout out to y'all still here. Yes, 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 yes. Y'all still tapped in. Yes. Yes, love it, love it, love it, love it. But yeah, I don't know what happened, y'all. That was crazy. Give some people a chance to tap back in. Culture, Tremont, and Winter. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, yes. All right, Charles. So we back, we back, we back. I don't know what happened. You know how YouTube do me from time to time. They don't even be showing my real numbers even in the chat, y'all. Like you can see each and every episode how many, views and much love I get, and they don't even show the full numbers. So sometimes we go through stuff like that with the chat just shutting down the way that it does, from time to time. But it's all good. It ain't gonna stop nothing over here. We're gonna continue to keep the party rocking. So again, thank y'all for tapping in. They hate. That's a fact, bro. That's a fact, man. That's a fact, man. I I don't got no big homie, no entity is securing my spot, you know what I'm saying, which is the way that I like it, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, so they try to mess up the message, man, you know what I'm saying? But y'all won't let that happen, so I appreciate that as always, man. But yeah, they definitely hating is what it is, bro. Now I definitely feel that. Pause. I definitely feel that. That's a fact. Again, thank y'all for tapping back in. We had some technical difficulties on the YouTube side of the game, but we're back. It is what it is. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Um, yeah. So a viral video of a man. He tries to deliver a pizza, and then the neighbor ended up getting arrested. So there's a viral video that's gone crazy right now, over millions of views. A man was trying to deliver a pizza, and the neighbor that he was delivering the pizza to, that neighbor was just giving him such a hard time. And the young lady kept asking him questions, knocking the pizza out his hand. There was he actually almost like jumped up to hit her, and she kind of like jumped back a little bit, but she was trying to invoke some sort of response from him. It was a lot of commotion going on too while he was just trying to deliver the pizza. Come to find out that there was cameras pretty much set up to catch that neighbor doing what that neighbor normally does, whether that was by the person that it was being delivered to and another neighbor, because they had different camera vantage points that pointed out this neighbor just on foolery time. There was a time in the video where the person that's getting the pizza, you know, they're inside finding their money supposedly, and the neighbor has basically took over the situation, keep continuously knocking and banging on their door, sit and put their foot right in front of their door while the pizza guy is still there. Like this thing got ridiculous. So it ended up with this young lady actually being arrested, as she should, because she there was an assault that happened and disruptance that was just unneeded and unnecessary. If y'all seen the video, let me know what y'all think in the chat. Shout out to Like Hard Martin in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100. Shout out to Justine in the building. As always, appreciate you for tapping and hit them likes, hit the 100s. That's crazy, man. They should have legalized crack and fent. I know you're saying fent to avoid such. This isn't happening in the future. This is a clear situation where this particular neighbor, she's known to be a menace. Anytime you live anywhere, and you have more than one neighbor looking to expose your behavior, that means you've been on menace time for quite a while. Because as an adult, it's hard enough being a human being. It's even harder adulting. And then to come home from work, work your job, take care of your children, and you got to deal with foolishness, just straight foolery, straight foolery. I don't see what would the girl as the neighbor. I don't see what her end game was. She was actually on her way out somewhere. She was on her way somewhere. Seen the pizza guy at her neighbor's door. Put the backpack down. Went back in her house. Came back out. Put this guy on camera like you're in front of my door, which he wasn't. Trying to expose him. And he's like, listen, man. I'm just here trying to deliver a pizza. I'm just waiting for these people to come out. And she knocks their pizza out his hand. Like, that's crazy. Regardless if it's pizza, bags, whatever's in his hands, that's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Who the hell are you to regulate? I'm just trying to deliver some pizza. And then to take it a step further, now you go to your neighbor's house, knock on their door refusely, and then when they open up the door, they say, get the hell away from my door. And your answer to that is putting your foot in their doorway? And you see why people crash out. That's a justifiable crash out, in my opinion. I don't have that type of energy where any of my neighbors, anyone, would put their foot in my doorway. You're going to lose a foot, dog. You're going to lose a foot. Or I may drag you inside and Lord guide my steps. Lord guide my steps after that. I may just do that. Like, I have a friend that always talk about being tricked out of your spot. I can be tricked out of my spot. That is a fact. Because not only are you being disruptive, but you're also being disrespectful. What type of respect for me that you have as a person that you could do that, let alone my home, invading my space, not even allowing the damn pizza guy to deliver me some food. I need substance. So, like, who do you think you are to regulate that? And mind you, she was on her way out somewhere. So the fact that people think that they can dictate their neighbor's steps of what they do and how they move, I'm glad she ended up getting arrested. She needed that dose of reality to let her understand. And I don't care if that was a man or a woman, but I think because it was a woman in this particular instance, why she ended up getting arrested. Because if that was a man that put his foot in front of another man's door, that would have ended completely different. When she knocked the pizza out the man's hand and he almost hit her, he coiled up and he caught himself like, yo, this is a woman. If that was a dude, it would have went down. Them neighbors able to saw that pizza guy fighting the neighbor. Those other two neighbors would have jumped that dude. It would have went completely different. So the best thing for her was to be arrested, was to go in custody, was to face charges. And for her, how stupid can you be? How stupid can you be? Trying to play tough, trying to regulate, for what? You went from going about to wherever you was going. Wherever you was going had to be a much better day than you ending up in jail. For only reasons on your account. You didn't have to knock the pizza out the guy's hand, and you didn't have to violate and regulate not only his space, but also your neighbor's space. Who the hell do you think you are? And we live in such a crash out society. Now, I understand why people crash out. I don't understand why she went left, but I can understand why people would crash out. This is a justifiable crash out, if you ask me. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Kevin Douglas, True, Ali, Turn Off We Need, Desire Swap. Uh, shout out to Big Wills. Appreciate you tapping in. Good to see you. Hassim. Appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. But yeah, like for her, again, this is terrible. At the end of the day, she should have minded her business, went along her day, and enjoyed her day. The fact that she felt embarrassed, the fact that when she knocked the guy pizza out his hand, she wasn't expecting him to, to coil up at her like yo, like shorty, yo, catch yourself, cause I'm about to two-piece you. She wasn't expecting that. She got embarrassed and then tried to regulate the situation. Take your L and go about your day. And it ended up where the police actually came to the property, came to her place, because they lived next door to each other, and arrested this young lady for no damn reason. It was for a reason, but for no reason on her own. Shout out to Sunday in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. Appreciate that. Don't mess with the pizza. You feel me? Can't mess with the pizza. But you get the point that I'm saying. It could have been anything. It could have been anything. And the fact that you think you could just knock it out somebody's hand is beyond me. It's beyond me. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the pizza, right? I know y'all only make a joke about it, but it's not the pizza, right? It's the principle of it. Imagine you doing your job and somebody knocking it out your hand. That shows disrespect. That's like you calling somebody like, yo, you a B and you can't do nothing about it. You a hoe. Can't do nothing about it. Somebody walk up to you and knock something out your hand and you don't know them? Again, we got men and we got women in here. Fellas, if a dude walks up to you and knocks something out your hand, that's not going to end well. That's not going to end well. Some of the fellas be like, you know what? It ain't that big of a deal. Whatever, dude. You have a good day. But for other dudes, bro, you going to feel the wrath. Now, for this woman to think she could pull that off is beyond me. And look what it ended up. Her going to jail. Shout out to KM in the building. I'm calling the police. Mr. Clean, I order my pizza with Fent. You stupid. But appreciate you tapping and hit them likes, hit the 100s. Yeah, I mean, you could let the police deal with the foolishness, which they ended up. And she ended up in jail, which she deserves. All right, y'all. Moving on. Our next hot topic. TMZ showed viral video of the rapper Lil Nas X roams the streets of LA, California, nearly naked at 4 a.m. and was said to be hospitalized afterwards for possible OD. I seen the video. That screams OD. He OD'd on something. He was high on something. Bro was out there in his drawers, walking up and down the street, talking to himself. Then he was talking to the person that was videotaping him. Leave them drugs alone. Yeah, I know y'all were joking about the fentanyl in the chat, but fentanyl for real ain't no laughing matter. He took something that got him so high when he had to take all his clothes off. That kind of remind me of the movie White Chicks, where the dude took the little, I think it was ecstasy, and before you know it, he had his shirt off. And again, walking in LA, in your drawers, screams substance abuse. And honestly, there was nobody, there was nobody with him. He didn't have a party with him. He didn't have nobody necessarily to protect him. It was just somebody driving down the street and somebody recording him. Where was his people? He's this important person. He's this celebrity. Where's his handlers? Where the people that's going to protect him if and when he gets in situations like this? Why is he in situations like this? So at the end of the day, this begs for other questions. Obviously, there's an OD situation. There's a substance abuse problem. He's been on some narcotics. But again, where's his people? Why is he by himself solo dolo? Which is beyond me. Uh, Shout out to A Smooth in the build. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Someone who took it live as a tree for 20 years. Appreciate A Smooth again in the build. Appreciate you tapping in. But yeah, so I would love to know what y'all think about this in the chat even further. That the fact that again he was walking down LA nearly naked by himself and basically having a trip. He was tripping. He was having a trip, a drug trip. And again, it's just astonishing to me that he was by himself. There was nobody there to protect him. I mean, and the craziest thing, like walking down the street nearly naked in LA is not even like a cause to like, yo, is that person okay? That's like a normal thing. Like that's the least threatening person that you could think of in LA. He don't got no money. He don't got no jewelry. He don't got no guns, no weapons. He just a bruh just walking down the street butt naked. Not butt naked, but damn near naked. Most non-threatening guy that you could think of in LA. Like that's crazy to me. So it's again, it's a shame that a person of his profile, who's considered a high-profile artist, celebrity, don't have none of his people around him. It's crazy. All right, y'all, moving on to my next hot topic. And for those of y'all been tapping in for your first time, this is Ken and Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I am Ashley Lovechild, and we talk about everything, whether it's music, sports, social commentary, and current events. So, all right, y'all, moving on to my next hot topic. A new study finds that men in relationships spend an average of $15,000 a year on their partner. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, a new study finds that men in relationships spend an average of 15,000 on 15,000 a year, 15,000 a year on their partner. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I can see that. I can see that. And honestly, the more money you have, obviously, the more money you spend. If you playing around in the millionaire brackets, which is not many people that play around in the millionaire brackets, those are big gifts, right? Those are super big gifts. If you in the thousandaire category, I can easily see 15,000 in gifts for your partner, for somebody that you really dealing with. Whether if it's your steady girlfriend, your wife, your fiance, I can easily see that. All of this shit adds up. Whether you going to dinner, there's birthdays, there's holidays for those who celebrate the holidays. There's just because, you know, I can easily see that on average. But it's amazing to me how I honestly believe that number is kind of skewed in some instances because we have people, they had a study where most people, if you have over $10,000 in your bank account right now, that means you have more money than 90% of the population. So it's quite interesting that they use 15,000 in that regard. But again, most people don't have money due to inflation, due to living check to check, and a part of that is spending it on your partner. A part of that is. So I could kind of see it going hand in hand as well. Shout out to the chat, Cashmere. Do you believe women should rule men? Yeah, women don't rule men. So I don't believe that women should rule men. There's no way that that happens. That's what they trying to spin it to, but no. Can't rule men, won't rule men, because y'all don't have the power to relationships or marriage. Y'all got the power of sex, but not relationships or marriage. So yeah. Do you believe with the F? Yeah, so yeah, I don't believe that women should rule men because y'all don't, or because they don't, I should say. Because I don't know who the person is, so yeah, I don't believe that. But we do need each other, though. That's one thing that's missing from the conversation. Too often, And too many times we seeing what this person gonna accept, what that person gonna accept. At the end of the day, we need each other. We need each other. So, but women, if you want to be married, you gotta get to a man's program. Because this we in a different day and age. We in a different day and age. Patrick Torres, one of our badge holders, back in the building. What up, my dude? Jackson Dart, look good again tonight. Giants went from not having a quarterback to having 3 quarterbacks. Yeah, y'all quarterback room do look fire though. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, Jackson Dart doing his thing. Shout out to Jackson Dart. He doing his thing. Uh, do you think the Okay, shout out to Cashmere. That question is crazy. That's a way off brand. Shout out to Jammin in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. A smooth Cashmere. What do you think? Yeah, Cashmere has been. I'm peeping it. But yes. So again, this new study was that men in relationships spend on average 15,000 a year on their partner. Again, I could easily believe that when we have stuff like Mother's Day. Mother's Day is crazy. Dude, I see dudes go all out for Mother's Day. Valentine's Day is crazy. Valentine. Some people own Valentine's Day businesses. And what that means is they only open only one part of the year. And they sell out every year. That Valentine's Day is big business. Easily with balloons, cards, candies, dinner. You gotta look good. You gotta go get you a haircut, get your hair braided, get your hair, retwisted. Gotta buy some nice clothes, take out, get gas. All that shit adds up. Netflix and chill, going to the movies, dinner, all that shit adds up. Not to mention you buy gifts, whether it's shoes, sneakers, jeans, or whatever the case may be. I can easily see that. Easily see that. And I'm talking about grown ass men. I'm not talking about, the guys who are like, just coming out of college. You're a grown ass man, but you're not, you're in college. So that's a bit different. I'm talking about men who get up, go to work, and, and live, got bills to pay. I can easily see that. Easily see that. And that goes to the point where I said prior to that most relationships are transactional. Regardless if you feel like you're not paying or not, you're still paying. You're still paying. I have a friend of mine that he just thought different than I did. And I said, yo, we always paying. He was like, yo, you don't pay. I said, I do pay. He was like, no, you don't. I said, dude, if I got to go get my hair done, if I got to go get a haircut, if I got to go buy clothes, I'm still paying. Regardless if I paid for dinner or not, or the movie or not, I'm still paying. I gotta go get gas. Whatever I have to do to make the situation easier and the night better or the day better for us and for myself, I paid. Even if I'm not paying for the actual act of sex. All men do things for sex, whether we say it or not. We may not have the intention of it, but you get a nice car. Why? To make it easier when a woman look at you, she'll be like, damn, he's handsome and he has a nice car. I'm going to give him some. You get a nice place, not necessarily get sex, but when you look good, you have a good personality, and when a woman comes to your house, you're like, damn, he has a nice house. You're going to get some sex. It's all a part of it. Even if you feel like you're doing it as the main foundation or not, you're still paying. Patrick Torres, the best thing is in life are free. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is a super lie. That is a super lie. We asked that question, what was the biggest lie ever told to us earlier in the show? And them answers was wild crazy. But that's a super big lie. The best things in life are free. No, it's not. No, it's not. My biggest accomplishments in my life and in other people's lives are not free. For most people, it's getting their education, getting that master's, getting that bachelor's. That shit ain't free. When you accomplish something at your job and you become the new manager or president or owner or a chairman, That shit wasn't free. There's a lot of pain, blood, sweat, and tears in that shit. When you get the woman that you want, even if you ain't paid to sleep with her as a transaction, you still paid by doing the upkeep to make the situation easier for her to say yes. So don't believe in that, y'all. The best things in life is not for free. When you have children, some people say those are the best moments of their life. One of the best thing, the best thing that I can ever be is a dad, is a father. That shit wasn't free. Hell no. So again, I agree with you, Patrick. The best things in life is not for free. That is a fact. Because I also spoke about earlier that most people value friendships based on what they can get out of you. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Schools are now requiring students to lock their phones in a patch before they enter school, and it's for the entire day. Do y'all hate that or love that? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Don't forget them to hit them likes and 100s in the chat. It helps with the growth of the show. Let me know if y'all hate it or love it. Again, schools are now requiring students to lock their phones in a patch, and it's going to be in there for the entire day. Let me know if y'all hate it or love it. Shout out to Cool Kid in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. That's dumb. Just don't be on your phone. That's the simple route. That's the most logically said answer, which makes a lot of sense. But human nature, though, like we got to be real with human nature. Kids is going to look at their phone. They're going to look at their phone. If you have your phone with you, you're going to pick it up. You're going to want to see it, even if it's just for the time. It starts off with, I just want to see the time. Then it becomes, yeah, I want to see if my mom or my dad call or something like that. For the entire day, I think it's a bit of a stretch. I think they should still have access of their phone. But to have it with them in class, I agree with them not having it with them in class. Now, in their locker room, in their lockers, or in this particular pouch, they can only open in between class. That makes more sense, in my opinion, because in class you don't need your phone anyway. You don't need it, right? So, in between classes, you can unlock the pouch. It should never be out. I could also understand why some students wouldn't want to keep their stuff in a locker, because the school can't control theft, which is crazy to me that schools can't control theft. But I can understand that being a possibility as well. Uh, I like them not to having their phone. We didn't have phones in school. That is a fact too. That's a fact too. See, we remember life before having phones in school. And because we didn't have a phone, wasn't used to having phones, we didn't think nothing of not having a phone. You know, like, but, let's keep it real. At least for me, I'ma say. You know, I was in my class, depending on certain classes, I'm passing notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, get that, all the way over there to, you know what I'm saying? To the lady on all the way to the end of the class. You know what I'm saying? So we used to pass them notes, but a phone is a phone. It's completely different. That's a different type of distraction. And there's no need for that in the classroom. But I do think they should have access of the phones in between classes. I really do believe that, because even living in Florida, there was times where my daughter called me. They had, a scare of a shooting at a school. There was a time there was an actual shooting at the school. So I do believe the kids still have access of the phones, just not in class. In between class, cool. We had them beepers. You know what's weird, right? So the beeper era wasn't necessarily my era. Like, I came in when beepers was leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, my time in high school, beepers was a thing. But most of my people, we had like two-way electronic phone books. You know what I'm saying? That was considered high class back then. You know what I mean? But Beepers was basically on its way out, and it was like the introduction of cell phones. Like cell phones was really big when I was a senior in high school. By that time, everybody had a cell phone. By that time, but yeah, but Beepers used to be hitting. But we had them two-way uh, text mess, not text. Yeah, it was text message, two-way pagers, and the electronic phone books, which was fire. Nextel was popping. Now, when I was in college, we had the Nextel, the chirp. That was a game changer. That was a game changer. Talking about talking to women, all you needed was her bleep. You just needed them numbers, and you just broop, 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 broop. Where you at? What you doing? It's crazy in college. Crazy work in college. But again, for high school, for them not having their phone in class, it does make sense to them not having it. But throughout the day, they still should have access to it, in my opinion. Shout out to Patrick again, one of our badge holders. Appreciate you as always. Again, hit them likes, y'all. Hit them 100s in the chat. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. ESPN has canceled its docu-series with Colin Kaepernick. And this particular docu-series was produced by Spike Lee, so you know where this was going to go, right? But after ESPN has canceled that docu-series with Colin Kaepernick, produced by Spike Lee, after announcing that the NFL will be purchasing 10% of ESPN. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, this is just the cost of doing business. What's the cost of doing business? ESPN, I remember when I was a little kid, I remember the birth of ESPN, right? Which is funny to me at this point in time. And ESPN used to be so fire. It was just that channel that had all the sports, right? The only time I hated ESPN when it wasn't football season or basketball season. We just was relegated to tennis and all the other alternate sports, right? I just like, I don't want to watch this all day. And I've said this. The NFL, even though it's a great lead as entertainment, is built off storylines. It's not built off talent. Some way, somehow, talent does make its way to the NFL. But it's not based on talent. Meaning that because somebody is so talented, they're the first person to be taken. And the story is created around their talent. The story is created around the story. They love to see young melanated kids coming from poor backgrounds, humble beginnings. Mom was a crackhead. Dad was in jail and just recently got out and cleaned his life up. And this kid used all of that hurt and turned himself into an undeniable football player. They love to see white community with the two-parent household and a decent background in the sense of not being poor, gaining opportunity, and their son using those opportunities and making something of himself. That's the storyline. That's the narrative that they want to see. NFL is built off storylines. So Colin Kaepernick has a docu-series with Spike Lee. Y'all know what type of movie Spike Lee makes. Regardless of any type of genre that he makes, he's going to interject and overject culture in his movies. And y'all know what I mean by culture. I hate saying the word black because that's not what we are. We're not 3/5 of a people or a person. So being that Colin Kaepernick stood up for what he stood up for and sacrificed his career, y'all know what type of docu-series this was going to be about. All NFL was doing was protecting the shield. That's all. 10% into ESPN for the NFL is nothing. Nothing. They spend that money in with no problem. But what they bought was an availability to change narratives as it's going along. Because for so long, the ESPN didn't work for the NFL and vice versa. So you had ESPN reporters and anchor people just speaking on the game. And sometimes the game don't show light to the lead. So now that the lead has bought into the game, to ESPN, which is the media platform, now you totally and completely get to gain traction on all media. It wasn't just a money play. Do the NFL really need 10% of the ESPN's company and business? No, no, not at all. It, Football is a damn religion in this country, which I love, by the way. I grew up playing football as well. So again, the fact that they bought 10% of this company, and now the docu-series went away. They controlling the narrative. They controlling the storylines. And like how I said before, the NFL's not built off talent because why? Because they know each and every year there's a new stud coming along. Whether he's white, whether he's a brother, there's a new stud coming along next year. You may not know who he is today, but when college football season starts, 3 weeks from now, is going to be a new kid that you never heard of, put up 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. He gonna run a 4.3. He's gonna be 210 pounds, 6'4", 6'5", 6'3", 6'2", whatever. He's gonna be special. He's gonna be like unlike something we've never seen before. And the NFL knows this, that every year we're gonna have a new stud. So we don't care if we miss out on this guy. The NFL don't care about winning either, because every team is not trying to win. Every team is not trying to win. You have access to the same coaches, the same scouting, but you hire this coach. You hire this scout. And y'all never in the playoffs. Y'all never get the right players to fulfill the things that y'all want to do within your franchise. That's not by accident. You watching the draft, you're a fan of a team, you see this guy that's clearly better than this guy. Oh, no, we're going to take the worst guy. Why would you take him when you have this guy on the board? He could change our whole franchise. Yeah, nah. We like him. There's a reason for that. Storylines. And this goes to my point of storylines, on the fact that they bought 10% of ESPN to control the narrative, control the media, and to keep other storylines from getting out. I think it's a terrible idea for allowing the NFL, the NBA, or any of these professional leagues to own a media platform such as the sports leader as ESPN is. I think it's a terrible mistake for them even being allowed to do it. Whether it's ESPN, Fox Sports, or any other sports channels coming along. I'm just saying. It makes no sense, because now you have your entity, and now this entity can't freely speak on what they see of what's going on. There's always going to be a narrative that's going to be controlled based on that. So I hate the idea that they was able to do it. They shouldn't have been able to do it, but they did it. And it's going to go along to what I'm saying moving forward. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, Keep the Lie Live segment. My Keep the Lie Live for this episode is truth versus what you can prove. Truth versus what you can prove. Quick shout out to Chuck in the building. Are we talking about Spike Lee? We was talking about Spike Lee. We added Spike Lee. We was talking about that. Well, before I go into my Keep the Lie Live, let me check out some of the chat. Y'all was sending some through. ESPN is Disney. That is a fact. They don't like controversy. Netflix should pick up the documentary. I agree with that. NFL did Colin Kaepernick dirty. Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But and also he had a part to play in that as well, where he could have got back into the league. Um, but overall, they did do him dirty. Overall, they did do him dirty. That's a fact. I agree with that, Patrick. That's a fact. What we talking about? Spike Lee. Yeah, because Spike Lee was the producer of a a, a documentary that was tailored around Colin Kaepernick. So because the NFL bought 10% of ESPN, bye documentary. So, but yes, facts, facts. Yeah, so my keep the lie live of this episode again is the truth versus what you can prove. And it stems from the case of Young Dolph. Young Dolph's alleged uh, people who was that did the murder and orchestrated. This in particular was the person who orchestrated or was alleged to orchestrate it. Let me get that clear. The person that was alleged to orchestrate his hit, his murder. Hernandez Govan, he was accused of Young Dolph's murder for organizing it, for organizing the young men to go do what they did ultimately. Um, his case was found not guilty on all counts. On all counts, not guilty. Uh, so he's acquitted. Not well. He's acquitted of first degree murder of all counts, and this is even after one of the gunmen, Cornelius Smith Jr., again, who admitted to being one of the gunmen. He was used to testify against Govan, which he did. And it only took the jury 3 hours to deliberate for them to come back to say it's still not enough evidence to convict this man of orchestrating Young Dolph's death. What's true and what you can prove. The first time I've even heard of that notion when I was 18, I went through a situation, found myself needing a lawyer, paid lawyer at that, not a public defender. And I'm telling my lawyer all these things about what was going on. And she was just like, yeah, nah, and I looked at her and just said, but I'm telling you the truth with all sincerity and all truth and a bit kind of hurt that my lawyer is not believing me. And she looked at me dead in my eyes and said, it's not what's true, it's what you can prove. And this case is another microcosm of that. Regardless if he did do this, but in the eyes of the law, he did not. There wasn't enough evidence, even when one of the gunmen, which is perplexing to me. How can I do a crime and I say, yo, this dude was the one that put me onto it? Wouldn't that be nail in the coffin? I'm just saying. If I say, yo, he the one that told me about the play, these were his plans, and I executed, and that's not enough by itself, something funky about that. Something's real funky about that. But in the eyes of the law is what matters the most. What matters the most. Now, is there a case and a possibility that this man had nothing to do with it? His name got dragged in it. He probably didn't like Young Dolph, but he wasn't the one to actually, conspire. He may have beef with this guy now, so now this guy is trying to drag him down with him. Could that be a possibility? Of course. Of course. Easily. Easily. But that's the whole purpose of having cases, having court, having blind justice. having justice based on the evidence. And everybody get their day in court, and he got his. And he was found not guilty on all counts. So it's not enough that you're telling the truth. The truth doesn't matter if you can't prove it. The truth doesn't matter unless you can prove it. In my eyes, the truth is the truth. In my eyes, the truth always matters. But in the eyes of the law, it rolls differently. Because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about in the eyes of the law. We're not talking about street justice. We're not talking about the eyes of the public opinion. We're talking about the law in the court of law. And he's set free. So we have to be very careful in how we move and learning what's the truth and what we can actually prove. That's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. A shout out to Brandon for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. What the hell? On your head, somebody actually walked out. Okay, appreciate you tapping in, a weirdo. That kind of lets me know what type of time you on by you trying to stand out by being a stain and not trying to be positive. Lets me know the fact that you don't have no pictures on your profile. Lets me know the type of person that you are. You're not even confident, but you're trying to inflict pain on other people that you can't do it to, because I know who I am. I know who I am. I know in real life, by you saying that with no picture, I can take your girl. I know that. And I probably could smash your moms too. I'm old enough to do it. And I'm young enough to take your girl too. So you have a blessed day, sir. I appreciate the comment, and I appreciate you tapping in, having all that energy to type that. Thank you. And I say that calmly as well. No crash out, just calmly. Appreciate you. Hit them likes in the 100s, because you felt like you had to get that off. So shout out to you. Holy in the building, appreciate you tapping in. Another weirdo. Appreciate you for being a weirdo. Again, all the weirdos that's tapping in, appreciate you for being a weirdo. Sounding a little insecure talking about people's girl. I sound insecure after someone tried to say something against me? Bruh, cut it out. That's crazy. This lets you know that participation trophies, we can't do that no more. Because if somebody says something about me, I can gently say to them that it shows an insecurity on their part, but because I responded, it shows an insecurity on mine. Just let me know that you homeboy's friend. You don't have a picture on your stuff too, which is funny to me. So no, that's not an insecurity on my part, sir. Because when these cameras go off, I know who I am. I know who I am on front of the camera. Y'all came on my platform. I didn't go on your platform. You came on mine. So yeah, that's not insecurity, sir. But appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate that. I brought up his girl because he was trying to diss how I look. What man goes to another man's platform and diss how that man looks? Again, that sounds crazy. And because I call it out, I'm insecure? Yeah, nah, you're not going to pull that one on old Ash. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You can't spin that. You can't spin that. Nah, you ain't talking to Boo Boo the Fool. Have a beautiful night. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Call me business, seeing how much it hurts me. Yeah, appreciate y'all tapping and hit them likes, hit them 100s. Again, this is Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I appreciate y'all tapping in each and every Thursday and Sunday. Every Thursday and Sunday at 10:30. Y'all are amazing as always. Shout out to Patrick Torres. Only rainbow side of the game man calls out another man looks. No offense to, and again on my platform, right? Like, you feel what it's like, it's weird. It's super weird, but it's, again, the truth is the truth and the reality is the reality. So shout out to them. When and I want to make this point, and I'm gonna tuck it, right? When you speak out against another dude unprompted, no pictures, no nothing, goes to show your reality. So that's even more crazy to me. So, but again, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Even the trolls, we need the trolls. That means I'm doing my job. If we got the trolls in here, I be having the trolls in here each and every episode. And at the end of the day, it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. I say that sincerely. It's all love. Appreciate y'all tapping in as always, especially those who are here to support and here to show love and to stand out by being positive. Appreciate y'all as always. Every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30. Every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30. Um, Also, I want to shout out the sponsors of the show, Bravo Section and OUV Records. Again, if you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me up on my Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers. So continue to like, subscribe, and share. Got over 450 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel. So again, I appreciate the support each and every episode. Y'all show up and show out. So again, thank you. For those that have been supporting my new EP on all music platforms, type in Ashley Lovechild. My new EP, Winners Loyalty, will pop up for those that it's your first time watching. So again, for all those who've been supporting, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting that new EP. 6 songs of fire, especially for my hip hop fans. So again, thank you for the undying support. I feel like I'm missing one last thing. We'll be back for episode 188 this Sunday. Y'all already know how I do. I may pop up, I'll say probably Saturday as well. Don't know the time. I'm just going to pop up. So hit that all notification bell because you just never know when I'm going to pop up. We got some special things popping up on Saturday, so I'm going to put y'all on. So again, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in as always. And one thing too, YouTube, I wish YouTube would do a better job in actually showing how many people is actually in my chat, because it'd be a whole lot more than what they show. So again, for those that continue to come in, support, show up, and show out, thank you. Thank you to my day ones, to my badge holders, them badge holders. Thank you. I appreciate it immensely. Again, you can tap in. I'm on every platform. Instagram at Ashley Lovechild, TikTok Ashley Lovechild, Mojo, Twitter Ashley Lovechild, Facebook Ashley Lovechild, NYC. So basically, I'm Ashley Lovechild on all my platforms. So make sure y'all tap in. It's nothing but love as always. And I'm going to see y'all next time. And y'all already know, man, it's love. And I'll see y'all next time. We out. Hold on, before I go, Ash, you should have a special NFL recap week 1 Sunday. I'm going to think about doing that. I'm going to think about doing, Patrick, I'm going to think about doing that. I really am. I really am. I really am. I really am. All right, y'all. I'm up out of here. I'm going to see y'all soon. And y'all already know it's love. We out.